guys, this is Ashley, or Miss Speaks, in the same shirt, the same position as the last two book videos that you have seen, because I'm filming them all at one time, because if I don't sit down and do it, I won't get it done. I am the worst procrastinator ever. So this is the third video that goes along with my book haul, my young adult book reviews of the 3 books that I've read recently, and this is going to be the adult books that I have read. There's 3 of them that I'm going to review. Now, I'm going to preface this and say, I teach 13, 14, 12, 13, 14-year-olds. So these books, the way I can tell you the best, these books would probably be rated like TV 14, TV mature, or rated R. In those respects of how you rate books, if that makes sense. So when I say adult literature, I know a lot of my kiddos, a lot of my students like to read adult literature, but some of these have some adult themes and some things that may not be appropriate for you. So just keep that in mind, that these are going to be my adult literature books. I know you've probably seen and heard worse, but I have to give that warning. So, because I don't want anybody to come after me. So just keep that in mind. And if you're unsure, ask a parent before you get a book or start reading it. Okay? All right. So anyways, hello, this is almost 30-year-old Ashley coming now. Again, this is the same shirt I've worn. This is the same position, same video. I have to show my shirt one more time. I just love this so much because it's so me. I have no shelf control. That's what I should title these series, because I have no shelf control. I constantly buy books all the time because I get into what one author does, and so I want to buy all the books that author does, or I get into a certain type of reading and I'm like, I gotta read every book that has that type. So these books are some that I just picked up on the spur of the moment. I went to Barnes & Noble multiple times over the past year and grabbed these 3 more adult books as I was getting the others in series of the young adult books I was reading. So I just grabbed them randomly. One of them really just jumped out to me. 2 of them are movies that I didn't even know about. I usually read the books before I even watch the movies, so I don't know if they're going to be the same. But the first one that I picked up, first adult book that I picked up that I want to show you, this was in a previous video. This is called, oh my gosh, I did it again. I'm so sorry if that made you dizzy. Okay, so anyways, the first book that I picked up and read recently was A Monster Calls. This is an awesome book. This, if I could give this 6 out of 5 stars, I would. It deals with depression and anxiety, but through the eyes of what was he, 13? A young boy, a young teenage boy. This one made me cry. I knew what was going to happen as soon as I started reading it. I knew exactly. See, usually books, whenever I can guess what's going to happen in the end, or I can guess, oh, well, I know what's going to happen to this character, or I know that, this monster stands for depression. If I know that from the beginning, usually I'm like, I don't want to read this. No. You know what happens, but you want to read how it happens. And that's my favorite kind of book. So, Monster Calls. This is actually a novel by Patrick Ness. And then there's a foreword in the book where another author, Siobhan, I think is how you say her name, Siobhan, maybe, Dowd. She actually had the inspiration of this story, and she passed away before she could write the story. So Patrick Ness kind of finished it for her, and I love that too. The illustrations are by Jim Kay, and the illustrations just add so much to it. This is the first book. What did it say? The first book ever to win both the Carnegie Medal for Literature and the Kate Greenway Medal for Illustration. So it's the first book to actually receive those 2 medals at the same time. Again, this is supposed to be a major motion picture, but I have never seen the trailers, anything. I just picked it up because of the illustrations. I mean, look at this. And I like anything that has to do with monsters, supernatural, relating emotions and feelings to those supernatural things. So when I saw this, I was like, this is a short read. It looks very beautifully illustrated. It looks creepy. It looks ominous. It's probably going to have a good message. And it does. let me read you the back real quick. The monster showed up after midnight, as they do, but it isn't the monster Connor's been expecting, the one from the nightmare he's had nearly every night since his mother started her treatments. The one with the darkness and the wind and the screaming. This monster is something different, something ancient, something wild, and it wants the truth. So this just piqued my interest, and I always like to flip through it a little bit if it has illustrations. And I mean, let me show you the one that really stood out to me. I think it's, yeah. This illustration is the one that I opened it up to in the store, and I was like, I gotta read this. Okay, so essentially the monster is the spirit of a yew tree that is out, not really in their garden, but out past their garden. It's kind of up on a hill. And it's the spirit of the yew tree, and yew trees are known to have like medicinal purposes, like healing abilities. And that is kind of revealed later on, unless you already know that. So it's not really a big thing to know. But this yew tree is old and ancient. And Connor is just a young, I think he's 12 or 13. I think he's 13. A 13-year-old boy. He lives in England. His mom and dad have split up. His dad lives in America now. And so he just lives with his mom. And his mom, as you could tell from this, is undergoing cancer treatments. And so he starts having this nightmare. And I won't tell you much about the nightmare, but you can probably guess what happens. But like I said, this is a book you want to read how it happens. So, but she starts going through these treatments. He has this nightmare. And then the nightmare changes. And he can't tell if it's real or not. The yew tree comes to life and basically comes to him. And he I can't even put words into it because it's so unique. But he starts telling stories, like tales. There's 4 tales that he has to tell before he can leave. The first 3 are tales that he tells the boy, and he has to learn something from them. And Connor is a young boy who's trying to understand what's going on. He has these nightmares. He's being bullied. I mean, like, terribly bullied. His mom's going through these treatments. His mom's got the cancer. They didn't say exactly what kind, but it doesn't matter. But she's got cancer. And so he's dealing with all of this, being tossed back and forth between his dad coming to visit and staying with him, and then having to stay with his grandmother, who is very uptight and doesn't like, but kind of what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't know, like disdainful of Connor. I don't know. Because he starts doing things to act out. And if you know anything about the psychology of young adults and adolescents, it's a very trying time. And then on top of this, with his mother, and anyways, it's just so good. So he's going through this tough time. You follow Connor, and you get to see all these tales that the monster tells him. At the last tale is the one that really gets you, and he kind of has to admit something that he doesn't want to admit. I'm gonna start crying. It's so good. But he kind of goes between this reality of just listening to the monster, and then the monster kind of not really takes him over, but accesses those feelings he's had, and he acts on the urges that he has. So he does a lot of damage to his relationships and actual physical property. But in the end, he knows the truth, and he has to give in to the truth. And just getting there and knowing what's going to happen, like if you're an experienced adult, you know what's going to happen. And but the process of him getting there, it just really makes your heart ache for Connor. It really makes you analyze. I'm going to start crying. It really makes you analyze your relationships with people, and how you react to them, how that affects other people. So anyways, this is more of an adult read, but I would recommend it to like higher level, maybe high school kids, because it deals with a lot of stuff that they would go through. So if they were having some kind of troubles at home. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. But I cried through the last like 5 pages. So this is a great book, and the illustrations just add to it. It has, I love it. So pick up A Monster Calls. Very interesting. Probably one of the best books that I've read in a long time. That actually made me feel something. So if I could give this a 10 out of 5 stars, I would, because it is so good. So that is another one that I have read recently. Okay. Shifting over from not really super seriousness, but like emotional seriousness. The last book I'm going to review was one that I just randomly picked up as well. I think I saw it on Goodreads. So remember, check out goodreads.com. I don't know if I've mentioned it in this video yet. I'll link it down below. But it's where you can create your own account and you can make a shelf of books that you have read. It's kind of like Facebook that shows the books that you've read, your progress. You can update it. You can set goals. You can talk to other people who do the books. You can review the books yourself. And then I think I found this one on Goodreads and I added it to my want to read list. And then I finally found it at Barnes & Noble and I was like, it's got to happen. So this is the next book. Oh, there's one more. I got so wrapped up in that first one, I thought I was done. There's 2 more. So this is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. This one I picked up at Target and it just like, I don't know, something just like screamed out to me that you got to read this book. I don't know if it's the idea of the woman in cabin 10. So like you're kind of like, ooh, pique my interest. What's going to happen to this woman? And then like, obviously they're on a boat of some kind. So that's kind of a fear. Is something happening while you're at sea? So I was like, I got to read this one. Let me kind of tell you, oh no, there isn't a back to this. I forgot. This is one that doesn't actually have a preface to it. It doesn't really tell you much. It just says reviews of what people say. And this is considered a New York Times, #1 New York Times bestseller. I think this was on, yes, Reese Witherspoon's book list. I don't really go by that because I really don't care about celebrities. But just to let you know, it's on her to read list. This is really good. This is a psychological thriller in a way, but it's more of a mystery suspense. Essentially, I don't even remember the girl's name. Oh my goodness. Like, I just love this story. I can't even remember what her name is. Oh shoot, what is it? Lo. I think they call her Lo. Isn't that her name? Oh my gosh, I'm terrible. Shoot, I'm probably just gonna have to call her the protagonist because I don't remember her name. Lo, I think is her name. Her last name's Black. I know that. I think. Laura Blacklock. Duh, they call her Lo. Her boyfriend does. Anyway, Laura Blacklock is the main character in this. She is an aspiring journalist. She kind of compromised with her job to get to be on a magazine where she writes about adventures. I don't know the best way to put it. But she's a journalist and she never really gets to go out and do the things. Like the main lead editor gets to go out and do all the adventures and stuff, and then she just writes about the stories that she brings back. So she's an aspiring journalist who's trying to claw her way up to the top, but she's kind of gotten complacent recently. It starts out really like different and then it kind of links at the end, but there's no true actual like black and white this is linked. But anyways, it starts out with her house getting broken into, and she doesn't get attacked. Like she likes to drink a lot, so she is considered an alcoholic. So she came back and she was basically blackout drunk, so she didn't know when she woke up if it was real what she was seeing. So she wakes up to this guy in her house and she goes to the bedroom door and he kind of shuts the door in her face and like bruises her and stuff. So he doesn't attack her or anything, but he takes her money or something out of her wallet and stuff. Anyways, what it does, it sets up her break in trust. It sets up her ability to do things on her own independently, because now she's relying more on other people to help keep her grounded, because now she's constantly got this fear of somebody's going to come after her, right? Do you know what I mean? Like her trust is broken. She's no longer feels safe. So anyway, she gets the chance of a lifetime when the main editor is sick. I think she's sick. Anyways, she has to be in the hospital and she can't go on this cruise that this billionaire has created, this like luxury cruise for people who can't really afford it, around Norway and in that area, because this is set in England again. But anyways, he's got this like cruise liner that he created and that he had built for himself and for him to rent out to people. And so she's going to be one of the first people, along with other photographers, writers, special people, that are going to come see this awesome boat and go on this like cruise. So she gets the opportunity to do it, and it frustrates me, but in a good way. Because the next one kind of frustrates me in a bad way. But this one frustrates me in a good way because she stays drunk a lot, but not bad. But people don't believe her a lot because she is drunk. So anyways, she goes on this trip, even though she really doesn't want to, but it's a trip of a lifetime and she wants to keep her job. She runs into a lot of people that she's met before. She runs into an ex that she had. The millionaire guy seems kind of weird, kind of off. There's some people that, there's like an older woman who's kind of like a celebrity, I think. I can't remember exactly. But anyways, it's not really important because you don't learn much about the people because, like I said, she's kind of drunk a lot of the time. But there's a mystery because she's in cabin 9 and then she sees this woman in cabin 10. A young woman gives her a mascara tube when she knocks on the door and says, "Hey, I'm out of mascara. Can I have mascara?" The girl gives her the mascara. Okay, literally that night, she hears a scream, and the cabin's like right next to each other. She hears a scream, and then she sees the body of what she thinks is the girl splash into the water. Okay, and so she is like panicking. She sees blood on the door. She's like, somebody just killed this girl in cabin 10. She goes and finds the captain, not really the captain, but like the first mate guy. They try to investigate. When they go to the room, nobody's there. Like, all the stuff that was there before is gone. So anyways, they basically start thinking that it's her drinking and her loss in trust of people and thinking everybody's after her. They don't believe her that somebody has been killed and dumped overboard. And so she goes on this like struggle of, I'm supposed to be reporting on this boat. I'm supposed to be understanding these people and getting like notes about people. But at the same time, a girl just died. So she's trying to unravel that mystery of the woman in cabin 10, and she ends up getting herself in a lot more danger than she thinks. And then this one's really cool because it has like excerpts in between some of the chapters of like, this is what I loved about this one. Okay, it has sometimes there's like newspaper articles, and like one of them says body found blah 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 blah, and so you're thinking it's the girl that jumped overboard, obviously, but then there's like the whole nother twist at the end. And then they, there's one point where her boyfriend gets on a chat, and you can see all the chat bubbles like in the book, and he's like telling people, don't quit quoting stuff, blah blah blah. I don't know, it's really interesting. I like it a lot. The ending is kind of a twist ending that I figured out at the end, like the very end, which was good. But like I said, the main character kind of frustrated me a little bit because she hid behind drinking, and so nobody believed her. But eventually she gets enough people on her side, she gets herself in trouble, but then other people help her. So anyways, if you want to solve the mystery of the woman in cabin 10, just like Laura Blacklock had to, and figure out what body they actually found, this is really interesting. A good page turner, a great book to read. So there's that one. Okay, I know these videos are really long and I'm sorry, but I love books so much. So here's the last one that I've read recently. So from The Woman in Cabin 10 to The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This is like a good comparison between these two. This one is more frustrating than this one. Both have female heroines. This one has a girl named Rachel who's just gone through a divorce. Not just gone, but like 2 years, and she's lost her job, but she's trying to keep up the act for her flatmate. And so she takes this train to London, I think is where it is, right? She takes the train to London every day and back to kind of keep up the ruse. And while she does that, she likes to watch the houses go by, and she sees the old house she used to share with her husband, where he's moved on to another woman. And that frustrates me too. But anyways, and then she also like keeps an eye on this like couple, in another house that she kind of has made up personalities for, and she likes watching them. She likes to get on the train and just see what they do. And that sounds really creepy. So when something bad happens to one of the women on the street that she watches, the couple she watches, she ends up dying or like going missing and something. She ends up going missing. And then they find her dead later. So Rachel, who has seen something that could help them unravel who took her and who killed her, is not believed, because it's kind of weird that you watch people on a train. So she just starts making up all these things, like she knew the girl, but she really didn't know the girl. She drinks a lot. This is a lot more than the woman in cabin 10. So that's frustrating because nobody believes her. Like, nobody. But anyway, oh my gosh, there's so much I could tell you about this book. I love it. The only thing that I had some frustrations with too is when you, like, there's different perspectives. So first you start reading from Rachel's perspective, and then you kind of go back in time and you start reading from the woman who goes missing's perspective, and like leading up to what happens to her. And then they throw in, they did it on purpose. She did it on purpose. Paula Hawkins did it on purpose, but it's so good. But then they throw in the point of view of the mistress who took her husband away from her. And she is so snotty and stuck up, and oh, I saved him from this awful woman, and even though she cheated on her, and like this Rachel did nothing. But anyways, it goes from the mistress's point of view too, because she becomes important later. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of gobbledygook, but trust me, it's really good. So basically you just watch Rachel kind of spiral out of control, but also like trying to regain control of understanding what happened so that she can help unravel the mystery of who took this girl and killed her. But she gets involved with the police, and she gets involved with the psychiatrist that was helping the girl who died. And I don't know, the ending was really interesting though, because it tries to set it up where you think that somebody has done it. Obviously, like it tries to do a ruse on you. And then it starts giving you these other suspects and blah, blah, blah. And then it turns out to be somebody you don't really expect, but you should have expected it in the first place. And then the revelation that she has at the end just seals the deal. So if you want to read about a really good psychological thriller, this is really good, but it's frustrating, I'll tell you, because you're just like, why don't you just sober up? Then you could solve everything. But that's the point of it, is to make it convoluted, to make it harder to figure out, because she has to figure herself out too. That's kind of the whole point of the story. So anyways, if you want to find out who actually kidnapped the other woman, the woman that she sees from the train and kills her, and the revelation that Rachel has at the end is just, it's very good. So anyways, even with its frustrations, I think this is a really good page turner book. The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Anything else I can tell you about any of these three? I don't know. I could talk about them all day long. I probably should have done 3 different videos, but I thought I'd just do one big one. So those were my 3 adult literature books that I have finished recently. The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, and then A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. All of these are well above 4 out of 5. This one, if I can give it 10 out of 5, I would. So pick up these books, get interested in them. Like I said before, these may not be books that are interesting to you. What I like, you may not like, and vice versa. But this kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect when you read these kind of books. So if you have any suggestions on what I should read in the future, let me know. Make sure you check out goodreads.com. Not sponsored in any way. It's just a really cool website that you can kind of list the books that you've read and the progress and rate them and review them. So let me know if I just rambled way too much. I tend to do that, but guys, these books are really good. When I find a good book or a good movie or anything I'm interested in, I just gotta tell you all the good stuff about it. I want you to discover it on your own though. So anyways, let me know if this is just too much. If I should start doing maybe one every so often, but check out the other videos previously that I did, the book haul, the young adult reviews as well. And thank y'all for coming to my channel and sticking there with me, even though I love to talk, especially about things that I like. So leave a thumbs up if you like to talk about things you like, and you probably ramble way too much. Thank y'all for hanging in there with me. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.